Vos émissions préférées sont toutes sur Radio Grand Lac.
Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Klaus.
Welcome to Your English Weekly. I'm glad to be here, where I interview a new local guest, pretty local guest today, in English, in simple English, about one of their passions. We are here every Tuesday at around 12:05 for about 25 minutes. And if you want to know more about our activities, you can consult the website yourlanguageworkshop.com. Donc, si vous voulez d'autres activités pour l'anglais ou d'autres langues, consultez notre site Your Language Workshop, donc votre atelier d'anglais en anglais, tout attaché.com. So, I am glad to be with you today, Adrienne. Adrienne, sorry.
Adrienne.
Yes, exactly. Could you explain why it's Adrienne and not Adrienne?
In English, we say Adrienne.
Okay.
The name is just Adrienne and not Adrienne.
Okay.
Because it would be so unnatural to say, hi, my name is Adrienne in English.
Yes, exactly. And you were saying that you don't like the French pronunciation of your name.
I really don't.
Yes. And how come your English is so good?
My English is so good because I am from the United States.
Oh, great. Yeah, me too, by the way. I mean, we've just met, but we do know that about each other. And so we're here to talk about one of your passions, but you have unveiled that you were at least hesitating between three passions. What were the other two? Let's give it a short list. Number 3 passion that you will not be talking about, if you don't mind.
Number 3 passion, I'm drawing a complete blank. I forgot what the third one is.
Number 2 passion.
Number 2 passion was planes. I love commercial planes, aircrafts, commercial jets.
Amazing, because actually... next week, no, not next week, the week after next, I have a pilot, a commercial airline pilot who will be in your seat, who works for a company that I shouldn't name, EasyJet. I think I can name Ryanair and some other airlines just so it's like legally, we're legally covered. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're not going to talk about commercial aircraft. But that's a very interesting passion, though. What?
We can.
We can? Okay. Should we throw them a curveball?
Sure. We can talk about both. We can talk about either or.
Well, why don't
How about you choose? How about I give you both topics and then you choose which one do you want to talk about?
Okay, that's very kind of you and very flexible. I suggest you just say very briefly why you're interested in commercial aircraft, and then we move on to the main topic, which is the other passion that we are yet to discover.
I think it's so fascinating that it works. I'm just always marveled that those things can fly. I think that's the basis of it.
Such heavy things, out of mostly metal, I think. It's similar to boats. It's like, how does this huge ship stay afloat?
Exactly.
And this is even in the air. It's like a huge metallic object. And okay.
It's crazy. And the engineering behind it is just insane.
Yeah.
Very fascinating.
Oh, that's cool. So you seem to have like a technical curiosity, fascination, perhaps expertise? Is that the case?
Not expertise, just an interest.
Do you have
casual interest?
Okay. Would I be putting you on the spot, asking you to explain why these metallic flying dinosaurs actually do fly? What keeps big aircraft in the air?
What keeps them in the air?
Yeah.
Is the lift.
Uh-huh.
The lift resistance, kind of like when you see a crow.
Uh-huh.
A hawk.
Adrienne is spreading her arms like wings now. Yes, like a bird that glides.
Yeah. There's lift generated underneath the wings that keeps it afloat.
Yes. So like you need like forward motion, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to be going a certain speed.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And so technical fascination. Is there any other aspect that you'd like to mention about commercial? Why specifically commercial aircraft? That's interesting. You said commercial.
Maybe just because those are the only ones I think I'll be on.
Okay, I see.
So general aviation is, I have very little interest in general aviation. The planes are so small. I don't see myself becoming a pilot. I would have loved to be a pilot, but the training and the qualifications going into it is way too difficult. It wasn't my path in life. I wish it would have been. But, so yeah, I think I will only ever be a passenger on commercial airlines. So
it's the closest to you. That's why you mentioned commercial aircraft as your passion.
For sure.
Okay, what is passion number one? Drum roll, please.
It's simply
in this case,
so just social interaction, just getting to know people, getting to know their story, and seeing what I can learn from them.
Okay, that's really cool. Less technical, more yin kind of.
Yeah.
Yes. A little more abstract, perhaps. I totally identify to it. Personally, I've written several biographies out of similar interests, I think, where I really wanted to... My idea is that everyone has their story.
Yeah.
And you just have to give them the opportunity to tell it. And even people that you probably wouldn't like if you didn't know their story, when they tell their story, I think we learn to love them if they really keep their if they have the time and the energy to tell it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but could you elaborate freely? I mean, what is it about relationships and interaction, social interaction? You said.
I just think you have so much to learn from it, and I think everyone at the end of the day thinks of themselves as a good person. I think there are very few people walking around thinking that they're bad. So it's just fascinating to find out what their story is and how that made them who they are today.
To find out is to discover, by the way. I don't want to abandon our French listeners who, of course, are mostly not native English speakers, well, by definition, if they're French. So, yes, I'll try to explain some expressions that you use that they might not understand, as I warned you.
No problem.
Okay. And you learn from people, but they also learn from you.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we all each other's gurus?
In a way, if we let ourselves be, I think it takes a particular type of person to be open to that sort of exchange of information. It takes a person who wants to learn about somebody and somebody who wants to also learn from the person and also teach in a way, teach the lessons that they learned in their lives, and it's very useful.
Do you tend to have more inspiring conversations with people you know well or people you don't know well?
That's such a good question.
That's a tricky question.
They're just so different. And this is something I miss about the US, is having just casual interactions with people where you kind of both just, for a moment, you're never going to see each other again. And you just kind of tell each other about your lives. And some of my most insightful important conversations I've ever had have been with people that I will never see again. I can't even remember their name, but it was just a stranger in passing, and we just had a conversation. And I think those are so valuable, and it's definitely something I'm missing here.
I totally understand, because I've noted that only in French is the expression to tell one's life story, raconter sa vie. Sorry, it's not 100% English show today. A negative expression. There's a negative connotation to it in French. I also speak a couple of other languages, and it's not the case in other languages. It's not a negative expression, and nor is it in English to tell your life story. You can kind of come across someone who's a little unbalanced and
preachy.
Yes, preachy, or just in need of just spilling it all out because they don't have, and it's happened to me, I'm sure too. I mean, when you're feeling a little alone, and then there's finally, how do you say, a listening ear? No, there's not. There's a helpful. No, there's an expression like that. Something with the ear, a helpful hand, I guess. Lend an ear. Yeah.
Lend an ear, maybe.
Yeah, someone who's willing to lend an ear. They or we might be a little excessive, and that can be something that can also disturb an American. Of course, these are all general tendencies.
For sure.
Yeah. What else did you want to mention about this passion that you've identified, and what form does it take? How do you live this passion?
In my daily life in France, I don't live it that often, to be honest. I still live it with my close friends, and with foreigners. With foreigners, we very easily fall into this type of conversation. But I have missed out on the casual interactions of daily life, just in the grocery store, waiting at the bus stop, any random person.
Mm-hmm. Can you think of one particular or several particular anecdotes where you met someone and it was an inspiring conversation? Or it's probably easier that way around than mentioning a conversation with a close one, proche, because that could be a little intimate and private. Private is more is the English expression. Intimate is translating from French. Yeah. Yes. So, does any like one meeting or conversation come to mind, or?
Something that comes to mind is not very inspirational or insightful, but it was very funny. It stuck with me. I was at a bus station in the U.S. and I started talking to this man. Started talking to me, and he was really convinced that he was the rightful king of England. This happened in 2017, 2018. And it really stuck with me how convinced he was. And he was like, truly just a crazy person. This isn't a great example of the insightful, important conversations we can have with strangers.
But it's interesting. And it stuck with you, like you said. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Because it was just so bizarre. And he looked so normal. You wouldn't think that he was somebody who had this sort of delusion, you know?
Mm-hmm. You never know.
You never know. And that's what you learn from talking to people, is you just never know.
Mm-hmm. Was this at a Greyhound station?
It was at a Greyhound station, exactly.
Can we explain to our French listeners what Greyhounds are? They're racing dogs. They're like whippets, I think. They're kind of like, I think a whippet is very close, at least to a Greyhound. I think a whippet is a smaller Greyhound. They run after rabbits on the racetrack, and it's the name of the company that kind of replaces your SNCF, because the American train network is not so tight-knit. We don't even have a high-speed train in the United States, this huge country with great expanses to cover. We still don't have a bullet train as defined. I think it has to go over like 170 kilometers an hour to be considered a bullet train. Anyway, yeah. So Greyhound is the bus network for long-distance buses. Amtrak is our train network. Okay, where else have you met? And or I don't know if this is the right direction, is the direction you want our conversation to take. You don't have anything in particular you'd like to?
No, I don't have any.
Okay.
No.
Can you think of like another anecdote besides your meeting with Prince Charles at the Greyhound station? With now King Charles, sorry.
The rightful heir.
Yes. His name was Charles, right?
I can't remember his name.
You should have asked, because maybe it was.
I think it was something just completely, like, he had one of those names like Stone or something. Okay. Something that's just not a name in English. Teal.
Okay.
You know.
Sorry, what did you say?
Teal or Stone or, something.
What's teal?
Teal is the color of it's like a bluish green.
Okay.
Color.
I'm not familiar with that.
Teal. T-E-A-L.
Teal. Teal. No, I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not very good with colors.
That's okay.
I think, yeah. Well, while you're thinking of another anecdote, let me share one with you. Look for one if you don't mind.
Okay.
Because I remember once in a Swiss chalet, I went with a bunch of Americans that whom I was doing a year abroad study with in Switzerland, and we went into the chalet, and there were all kinds of backpackers and stuff. And I don't remember an encounter with other travelers. I know there were others, and it was quite fascinating. But I remember with my best friend of this group, Kim Hageman, not to mention her name, from Ohio. Kim, if you're there, I say hi, you know. But I doubt you are. No, she made up this word to express exactly what we're talking about here. That's when you meet somebody and you're just on this contact high, which is another expression I love, a contact high. Before we explain what a contact high is, it's when you meet somebody who's in a great mood and they just it's contagious. But she said when you get along with somebody you just met, more or less, it's chipping. She made up this word. Oh, we were really chipping.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
love that.
I hope this word will
catch on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have you thought of any other nice?
Yeah, I did meet this woman, middle-aged, in Lexington, Kentucky, and
which is kind of your neck of the woods.
I did my bachelor's degree in Lexington, Kentucky, at the University of Kentucky, and I was just off campus, and I was just I don't know why this woman and I started talking, but she. The University of Kentucky has a medical campus, a pretty big medical center, and she was getting. She had just come from learning that she had skin cancer all around her lips, and she was. I remember how shocked she was about this because she was a avid sunscreen, a religious sunscreen user.
Religious, yeah.
For sure, and She told me that it was only around her lips, and it was because we don't think to put sunscreen on our lips. So if that can help anyone else, you got to put sunscreen around your lips too, and not just on your face to prevent skin cancer. So that's something I still use every day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. You did talk about learning things, but it's not. I'm pretty sure that it's not only about learning things, because you don't seem like a very greedy person, and that's I take it as a compliment, please. Yeah. I'm sure it's also just about heartwarming and just connection and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Do you have perhaps anything to say about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's the best way to feel connected when somebody shares something and you can relate, or if you share something and they can relate or give advice or just offer any sort of perspective that you wouldn't have come to on your own. I think that's the most valuable thing on earth, really. And I think it's something that we should take more advantage of in France and not be so afraid of casual interaction.
Yeah, casual is... do you mean like informal or...
Yeah, just at the grocery store, in line, you know. Mm-hmm. It's been a while since you've been in the U.S., right?
Yes. I don't go back a lot.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. No, but you're still more American than I used to be.
Yeah.
Well, I used to be totally American, but yeah. I know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
No.
But when you're there, you chat. Americans chat with everyone, and it's very low pressure. It's very casual, and you'll probably never see each other again, or it might really click. That's pretty rare, but it might. But I think that's what I'm missing here. Mm.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I have a theory for why.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like that. I think it's the need to faire la bise afterwards. Once you know somebody, less now after COVID, but I think before, I noticed this a lot before, is there's kind of like a hesitance to get to know people, because then you have to acknowledge that you know each other. Whereas in the US, a smile is sufficient. A smile and a wave is sufficient. But when you do the bees, then you have to have a whole conversation with the person, and it's just more of an engagement.
Yes. There are like constraints and like some kind of It's too formal, I guess. What you're saying. Do you think that codes, they're really more, like, as they say, I'm using a French word, codes, like social codes? Do you think there are more social codes in French society than in American, or just different ones?
I don't know. I think the American ones are more subtle than the French ones. You want an example?
Yes, please.
You meet somebody at a party in the US and you talk to them for the whole time, not for the whole time, for maybe like 5 minutes, and then you go, "It was great to meet you." That can be taken two ways. That can be taken literally, like, "It was so great to meet you," but that can also be taken as, "I'm done with this conversation and I'm moving on to the next person," you know? And nobody takes it bad. It's not a hard thing to hear, but you have to kind of know that means that, you know, this is the end for us for now, you know? And I think that's subtle. I think there are a lot of subtle things like that because Americans have such the, like, economy of social interaction in the US is so, there's no scarcity. Whereas in France, I feel like there's a lot of scarcity with
social interaction.
Yeah. You have your colleagues, and when you're an adult, you have your colleagues and your family in France, but we have no casual interaction, you know? So it's pretty scarce.
Yes, I know what you mean, but there's perhaps also the age factor, because when you were in the States, you were younger, you were a student, and there's also, I think, that kind of like, you're much younger than I am. You're
30.
So you're still a young adult, but it kind of, when you get older, people kind of tend to have their network. Yeah. And so once they have their network, they're not so interested, and I'm sure we're the same. We wouldn't be so interested in, like, meeting people and things like that.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm just thinking aloud. I'm not like lecturing.
Oh no, I think you're right. I think it's less about meeting people and more about the casual interaction. At a party, obviously, you're meeting somebody, but at the grocery store, you know, you're just kind of talking to pass the time while you're waiting in line, you know?
Yeah. What strikes me, and I don't want to fall into French bashing, because it doesn't seem to be what we want to, either of us really feel and think, but there are some nice things about the United States, and that actually is one of them. What strikes me is how, when you go out in France, it's almost looked down upon, mal vu, when you don't, when you're open to strangers, to people you don't know. It's like, oh, you're lessening your worth by not being selective. And I'm sorry to quote myself, but I have said, the great scholar Klaus has said that friendship is the beginning of corruption. What do you think about that?
Friendship is the beginning of corruption, in the sense that once you get close to somebody, you're susceptible to their influence.
It's more like if you, once you are included in a group, by definition, you're excluding someone else, even in a subtle way. It's like by saying, like, you know, like, yeah, we belong. It's difficult to have, like, universal openness and just do that in an absolute way. I'm confronted with my own contradictions and stuff like that too. Theoretically, I guess I'm a hippie and I'd be, like, open to everything, but practically I'm not, actually.
Yeah, it's hard to be open to everything. I think a lot of people try to be. I definitely try to be, but I'm less and less open the longer I spend in France. I am a victim of the culture of méfiance in France.
Like being weary of someone, being, like, cautious, on your guard, kind of. Yeah. Hey, Adrienne, would you like to express that slight frustration, or perhaps big frustration, and get over a frustration you had on the radio in the United States, where you weren't allowed to say a swear word? Could we just swear together at the French coldness and arrogance?
Yes, we can.
Oh, fuck. Yes.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's hard out here.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add at the end on the listener's way?
Maybe try to have a casual interaction with someone today.
Oh, cool. Very concrete, practical, pragmatic approach. So it was really great getting to know you.
Thank you. You too.
That was in reference to what you said about the closing line at a party. So if you are hungry for more English with real native speakers like Adrienne and myself to a lesser degree, you can contact us at yourlanguageworkshop.com. We do all kinds of nice things like English in Song, which is a monthly evening where I play the piano and guitar and I sing English songs with you, or Body and Vocal, where you learn to relax and use your voice in a way that is good for English and for you. So, see you next week at Your English Weekly.
La radio locale pour vous, c'est Radio Grand Lac.